Hey, welcome to VSB TV. And today, really excited, we've got Jessica Ricketts.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Now, Jess is from JR Media, and she does a lot of work with Facebook advertising and helping her clients actually attract more business.
Yes, that's my specialty. I've been doing it for probably almost 7 years now, Kevin, on and off. And that's what I specialize, getting businesses out to the local community using social media ads.
She does really cute videos. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? You do great videos about with little handy hints and that sort of stuff, really short little
tip videos.
Pocket-sized tips. Yeah,
right.
Little micro lessons, which are fantastic. You've been doing those for a long time now.
Actually, yeah, probably almost 2 years.
I was going to say it's at least 2 years.
I've got a real library of tip videos now that have of all sorts of things, from boosting the posts to running sponsored ads.
In fact, we're going to talk a lot about a whole lot of that stuff, because you're going to give us 5 tips on how to attract the right audience, because you don't want to be going and giving Facebook way too much money.
That's right. You need to spend your money where the right people, spend your money on the right people. And because Facebook gives you so many options on how to target and makes it really easy for you to spend money with lots of options, a lot of people just glaze over the options, Kevin, and waste their money and then throw their hands up in the air and say, well, that didn't work.
Well, it's like, I used to be a recruiter, and we used to put ads in the Courier Mail, both in the recruitment section, but also in the early news. And they would cost a fortune. And the reason that it cost so much was we weren't being able to target exactly who we wanted to talk to. We had to target everyone that got the Courier Mail.
Exactly. So not everyone in the Courier Mail is going to be looking for a job, for example.
Particularly a job as an accountant, let's face it.
That's right. So it's really niche down. So the beauty about Facebook ads is that we can niche down to what I call an ideal client or an ideal client avatar. And that's the wonderful thing. And unlike having an ad in a magazine, if the picture didn't work, Kevin, in the newspaper, you don't know until the next issue of that newspaper. But using digital marketing ads, and this is for Facebook, Google, whatever you use, when you're using digital ads, you can look at the numbers, and in about 4 days, you can know which ones to turn off, which ones to test again, and whether it's working or not. So that's the beauty of it.
Absolutely. But let's get right into it. So here's Jess's 5 top tips on targeting the right audience.
Right. Okay, Kevin. So the first tip when targeting your ideal clients using social media is, one, you got to pay for ads. Whether you're boosting the clicking the boost button or running sponsored Facebook ads, you've got to pay for it. Facebook's a business. So if you want to promote your business, then we need to pay for it.
That's it. There's a lot of discussion on a whole lot of social media groups that I'm part of that, I used to be able to get this audience and now I can only get that. And I'm sitting there thinking, hang on, but you want to promote your group using this asset that's owned by someone else. Surely you got to pay for that.
That's right. And there's only so much real estate. And, the more people who pay for ads, the more expensive it gets. And it's an auction process, just like Google Ads. So my first tip is that if you want to reach more people and reach more of the right people, you got to show some green. All right. So the next one is a little bit what we talked about before, about knowing who your ideal client is. And this goes far beyond just, our age and whether we've got kids or whether we have money. It's more than our demographics now. And it's all about drilling down to maybe what types of cars do they drive, what software do they use, what websites are they visiting. So it's all about thinking a little bit more outside the box and knowing who your ideal client is.
So it's more focused on their interests.
Yeah, exactly. And what they're browsing on social media or on using websites. So if you need help just brainstorming a couple of these ideal clients, I do have a free questionnaire that the listeners and viewers from Brisbane Small Business can download. It's my ideal client questionnaire. It just helps prompt your thoughts about who your ideal client is and those sort of interests that they might be interested in.
So we're going to put that in this thread down here, and we'll also make sure that you're sharing that into the group so that people can find it. from time to
100%.
time.
And it's on my Brisbane Small Business Portal listing if anyone's interested in browsing on that. So the third tip is when you're running a boosted post or sponsored ads, is to make the audiences that you're selecting, meaning the audience that you want your ads to be shown to, make these audiences as big as possible, Kevin. Try to aim for 500,000 plus if you can.
Hang on, now 500,000. Now I'm a bit confused about this because, Brisbane Small Business, we cover Southeast Queensland, we get all that, but we look at, there's only 435,000 small businesses in all of Queensland. So even if I had my targeting absolutely right, I'd have kind of 435,000 people. That's not 500.
I know it's not 500, so it's just a number to aim for. Because, for example, Kevin, if we narrow down our audiences down to maybe 1,000 people, that's a really small amount of data when it comes to the world of Facebook, because Facebook wants to show your ads to the people most likely to respond to your ads. So when you only have a group or audience of 1,000, not only is it going to be really expensive to reach those thousands of people, it's not giving Facebook much option about who to see. So just something to keep in mind, that you don't want 1,000, you want to aim for 500,000, but you also, what you said, want to keep it really targeted.
Absolutely. And with that, like, Facebook want people to have a good experience on Facebook.
100%.
Right? That is their entire goal. That's how they keep us there longer and all that sort of stuff. And we talk about, time consumption and blah, blah, blah. But with that, they don't want to be showing your ad 27 times to the same person in a day, because that's not a good experience for that person.
Exactly. And, if we give them a bad experience, it's going to cost us a lot of money. But then if Facebook loses their users, well, then it loses its revenue. So it's all about, absolutely keeping an eye on frequency and the user experience.
And at the same time, they're not going to be able to advertise our next thing to them because they're no longer there. So that They don't want to do that, because it is going to affect their revenue as well as, your prospects as well. So that was number 3.
So the next one is when you're using Ads Manager and you're setting up a sponsored ad and you're entering people's interests in the interest sections. Now, there is a little tick box underneath that says, tick this for Facebook to show your, expand your interests and allow Facebook to show your ads to people who they think will respond to your ads well. I recommend people testing this little tick box out, because Facebook knows more than we will ever know about who our ideal clients is. So if we just enter a few interests and then tick that box, it's worth testing out to see if we see a greater result by allowing Facebook to find the people for us. So next time you're in Ads Manager, pay close attention. It's a really small little opt-in tick box, and give it a try next time.
So you're saying we should trust that Facebook knows people better than we do?
I'm saying that, yes.
And at the end of the day, Facebook aren't short-term thinkers. Remember, they were around for so long before they had any revenue platform whatsoever. They're not just going to try and get as many dollars out of you today and waste them so that you don't have a good experience as an advertiser, because you won't come back next month. They're smart like that.
Exactly.
Now, somebody asked a question. I can't read it from where I am because it's...
What about if your product is commercial? Any tips for targeting them? Okay, so commercial as in
so you're a business-to-business sale. So but at the end of the day, people are buying your product, not the business. I know the business is kind of buying your product, but it isn't the business making the decision. It's a person on the end of that keyboard that's making that decision.
When it comes to targeting, though, perhaps something like the software they would use. So for example, when I'm running ads and I'm looking for small business owners, I target people who are interested in MYOB, in QuickBooks, in Xero, because these are all accounting software that businesses would use. And the everyday mum and dad family who isn't a business owner, they're not going to be interested in this sort of thing.
I have no interest in any of them. Use them, but don't. Anyway, story there.
Anyways, you would have been, if you use it, you're included. So, Shane, that's an example on how to do some commercial targeting. And now my final tip is to pay close attention to where your ads are being seen geographically. Okay, so we've got whether you're doing the boost button or a sponsored ad, you've got an option to drill down to either postcode, showing ads to people in specific postcodes. You can enter your business address and just show a radius of 5 kilometers up to 80 kilometers to show your ads into. One of the biggest mistakes, Kevin, I see is when I'm looking at an ad account, they've clicked the boost button, glazed over the options, and instead of just wanting to advertise in Brisbane, they've advertised all to Queensland. And that is such a big waste of money.
So with that, could it even have gone to Kazakhstan or something like that and wasting your money that way?
Not necessarily if you've accidentally typed in Kazakhstan as a joke and then hit the boost button, yeah, sure. But I believe when you're setting up an ad account, I think you have to set up, it's been a while, but I think you have to set up your time zones and your location when you're setting up your ad. And I believe it would tie in with that sort of stuff.
Excellent. So look, there's 5 really awesome tips. So one, be prepared to pay at least a small budget.
Mm-hmm.
2, know your audience and know what they're interested in, because by targeting by interest rather than by demographic, you're going to get a far more accurate engagement into your thing. When promoting, we need to use their interests. That's what we just said.
Oh, the little tick box.
Tick box.
Test out the little tick box.
And let Facebook expand.
That's right.
Your audience for you.
What was the next one? Oh, make your audience sizes as large as possible.
That's it.
And finally, drill down by location.
Fantastic. So now, Jess, you're actually got a webinar, an actual workshop next week, an online workshop. You're going to run it a couple of different times.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to put the events, we're going to link them into this stream because it's so much to cover. We've tried to do it in 5 minutes and we failed miserably and it's gone 12. But that's because we're a bit too chatty. I hope everyone's got fantastic value. Please think about going along to, what's the cost of your workshop?
The workshop's actually free, Kevin, and it's all about how to avoid being Brisbane's best kept secret and using Facebook ads to get more business locally. So I cover more advertising, targeting tips, but also a few other things that I'll add the link in the show notes to go from there.
Yep, she'll add them into these streams. On top of that, if you do go to JR Media on the Brisbane Small Business Portal, they're there as events and you can actually find them nice and easily that way. You've already got about 40 people registered, you were saying.
40 people registered, Kevin. So I've got running 2 sessions next Wednesday, 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock, and an evening session on Thursday next week at 7 o'clock. And if you register and can't attend, there's a recording available for everybody.
Fantastic. But they've got to ask you for the recording, yeah?
They have to be registered to get a copy.
Fantastic. So look, thanks very much for coming along today. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with everyone in Brisbane Small Business. Sorry if we haven't got to your question, but Jess will get back onto this stream and answer them all.
I'll get typing
really quickly.